Hello, Gloucester Township. Welcome to the Restore GT podcast, the number one podcast
the number
in
one
all
podcast.
of Gloucester Township. So today is, we're coming up on...
Today is Navy Blue Shirt Day. Human Resources sent out a memo and said, make sure you wear your navy blue shirt. I just realized that.
As soon as the cameras went on, I went,
Oh, yeah, look at that. Yeah.
to be fair, this was my clean out the house for tomorrow's yard sale dress attire. So
This is my uniform. I have either blue or black. That's
so
my uniform.
My whole cabinet.
I have like 600 black T-shirts.
Yes. When I go shopping, she goes, "You have that color already." All right, about this one. That's the other color you have too. So, but yes, it is. It's Mother's Day weekend. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Yep.
It's. I think I'm prepared for that.
You ready? Good.
Yeah, I bought her some. I buy her kind of the same thing every year. It's a tradition, so I'm all set for that. After I gotta get through tomorrow's yard sale. So
Yeah. I used to get my mom something, same thing. It was like a Swarovski crystals like that, or she would collect. So I get her different, they'd have come out with all ones all the time. But as time passed, and she doesn't really know that she collects those anymore. Things have changed, and parents got older, and now it's, hey, we're getting landscaping for you because you haven't cut your bushes in 2 years. So somebody's gonna come over and take care of this for you. My sisters and I were talking. My sister's like, hey, would you go and take care of mom and dad's? And I'm like, I wouldn't do that for myself. I'm gonna have
somebody stop by.
Hey, I'm gonna have somebody else come do that.
I've often wondered too. I've always gone, probably since high school. I would go to a garden center, and my mom would always have hanging plants outside with the big flowers, big flower ones, and I would buy them for her. And like the first time I did it, she loved it, and every year since, and it's been a long time since high school.
Yeah.
And now I buy her the big massive ones that are super expensive and stuff
With the hay at the bottoms and all.
Yeah. And I don't. And I've always wondered, what if she really hates those?
Yeah.
Like she hangs them outside, but if she's like, God.
Yeah, like would she tell you?
She always bringing those plants over again. So I always.
He thinks I love them.
I always do that too, and then I of course I take her out to dinner and stuff.
Yeah.
Just in case the plants are terrible, and then maybe the dinner is fine.
Yeah.
But so happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day.
Happy
All the mothers.
Mother's Day to the mothers out there, and don't plan on driving down the Lower Landing Road if you've got any Mother's Day plans.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
there was a sinkhole that happened over there today.
Did you go check it out?
I couldn't get down the street. I got alerted of that, that it was going on, and I was like, I'll go, take my camera out there and go see what we can see. At that time, it seemed like somebody, I guess it wasn't being attended to, but after I was alerted, it was probably, way too late, but the roads were already blocked off, and construction was going on, and I was too lazy to get out of my car and walk over to go get any video, but it appeared that it was pretty major of a, disruption over there.
I saw the video.
What I heard, it was a water main break to the MUA building, which was ironic because this week we'll have some stuff coming up in the podcast about the MUA and what's going on with that. But it was just kind of, I don't want to say funny, but it was coincidental that it just so happened to be right at the MUA. That this leak was taking place and a sinkhole was forming. It looked like it was decent size when I saw it there, but who knows? But once water gets moving underground, it's got a mind of its own. It's got
funny.
its own way to go.
The instant that I saw the video, and I thought, I wonder how long it's going to take them to get that fixed. Should we send Keith with a camera to get it sped up? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So on the same note too of Keith with a camera. We, I mentioned tomorrow's a yard sale. So if you find yourself going down Garwood Road tomorrow in the rain, we'll be out there. We're right off Garwood Road doing a yard sale. But I put in for a permit about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, for a permit for a yard sale, and we organized it for the whole community. And I got no response.
Is is it me, or is it absolutely bizarre that you need to have a permit for to have a yard sale at your house?
Well, yeah, it is. It's always been absolutely insane that
there's zero cost to it, right? Mm-hmm. So I did this probably 2, maybe 3 years ago or so. As I started getting involved and was saying, hey, I'm helping the downtown Blackwood area, and until I won't get into the whole thing, but being kind of shunned away from doing that.
I remember
but
that.
I was trying to help coordinate, similar to you're doing on your block here, a townwide downtown Blackwood yard sale. So I went down to the clerk's office to find out, because I did know that you needed to have the permit and everything. And I just found it completely bizarre that, like, when I asked the question, like, well, why do we need a permit? At that time, the answer that I received was, well, in case the police need to go there, they know where to go. I said, what the hell would the police need to know?
Yard sale fights?
Like, yeah, like, what's going on at yard sales that we need to know? Well, yeah, so the police know. I'm like, so is somebody reporting the address on a day that there's no yard sale? They would know where to go? But if there were actually a yard sale going on there and somebody reported, like, hey, I'm over here on, whatever it was, 12 Holly Court or whatever it's called. You know what I mean? Where's that? I don't know. Let me check. Is there a permit for that?
Imagine getting robbed. You're getting robbed and you call and they go, you have a permit to get robbed yet?
Right.
Because we don't know how to get there.
We don't know how to get there. So I don't know if it was the wrong answer that was given to me, but it was just I was just so dumbfounded. I'm like, I'm not even asking any further, because I will literally be stupid for hearing whatever it is that comes out of their mouth next.
I waited a week, and then I emailed them back again. I said, hey, just checking on the permit that I sent in. And nothing, no response. And then yesterday was Thursday, and I know they're closed on Friday, so I thought, well, this is my only chance.
Yeah.
So around noon, I reached back out, I called, and when you get the prompts, prompt number 5 was permits and construction. And I thought, it's permit. I need a permit. I get some woman on the phone who, she doesn't seem like she's happy to answer the phone. She's
you're bothering her.
She's very raspy. But she says it was the construction office. Shout out to the construction office. And she's like, this is the construction office. I don't know. Yard sale permit. We don't do yard sale permits. I hit number 5 because number 5 says permits. I realize it's not a construction permit, but it says permits. And she goes, right. Well, that's not where you don't come here for that.
Oh, sorry, I don't know.
I hit 5
the things that you deal with every
for
single
permits
day to know which one.
She goes, that's not us. I go, I get that. Can you send me to the person that it is? So then she sends me to a voicemail that just says, you've reached the voicemail for a mailbox, and it gives a number. So I leave. I leave the voicemail saying who I am, who I emailed it to. I emailed it to the clerk, and knowing that this mailbox probably doesn't go to anybody. So
all still while wondering, why do I need a permit to have my
yard sale? So yard sale tomorrow without the permit because we're rebels.
What do you think the consequences of not having a permit, and would they make you take everything back from people that bought it, or like how's that?
Well, so I was thinking that I could probably the only way to get a permit was to have you show up with a camera, and I'm just sitting out there, and I've got all the people on the street, and they've got all their stuff out there, but nobody's allowed to buy anything yet.
Right.
And I got you on your camera, and you're doing interviews with people that want to buy.
Right. I can't get this. I want this. He's got old
shirts.
Legos.
He's got really nice old shirts.
Yeah.
And they're all navy blue, but I really want to buy his old navy blue shirts that he's got.
A lot of them.
And I
need a lot of them
because there's a sale on all pauses right now until this permit is approved.
Yeah.
And then immediately I would get a permit because.
Well, I guess that goes into another question too. Like most yard sales, I would imagine, are held on a weekend, like Saturday or Sunday. The township only operates during Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, right? So who's out checking these permits? Like, why do we need a permit for something that no one's going to be enforcing anyways? Are the police enforcing that, or are we paying cops to enforce that, or is that a? I don't know. How does that work?
Well, if I go to jail, I'm taking a camera because it's going to be good content.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of Fridays too, which is another thing that we should discuss that I don't think we have at all on our topic. So. The township, again, only operates 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Today, in the Courier-Post, it was posted that Friday is going to be the replacement of Councilwoman Stubbs by the Democratic Committee had submitted names, I guess, to council, who then interviews these people, and then they're going to make a decision on that. So somehow on a Friday night, is the date that they're going to have the hearing or the swearing in or whatever else is for this new council person, which I find odd on a Friday night. Why is it Friday night? Why can't you do the actual next council meeting? Because it's not the 30-day window that they have, because the date of the next council meeting, they'll still have 2 more days of 30 days in there. So it can't be that. But it wasn't like announced on their. Well, it was literally just the bare minimum that we have to do by law is to post it into a form of media that nobody looks at anymore. Unfortunately, somebody did catch it, and it will now be made public. But you think that's going to be made public? And why?
No, because it was said at the last meeting that they were going to be there. They were going to be
at the next meeting. It was explained how they're.
Yeah, because he even said we'll go into private session. Mm-hmm. They were going to interview them first, and he didn't really state whether and where they were going to interview them, but they were going to go into private session and then pick one. Mm-hmm. And there was never a mention of a Friday thing happening. So
no, it was literally told this is what we're going to do. And now, but if you question that, you'll be gaslit and be like, I never said that. We literally have the clip of you saying that.
There's a clip coming up of that, so I won't. I won't do any cleanup on that clip. So yeah. Also, they're hiring over there for a clerk, and my wife thought, oh, it'd be nice to work local. She works kind of far away, and she said, I'm going to apply over there, but it wasn't really clear how to apply because you had to fax in your resume. So she called.
So we're putting it out that we're looking for a position, but we're not going to tell you how to apply for the position because we probably already know who we're going to put in the position, but legally we have to post it. I think
the only option that they had was a fax, was to fax it over. And
what year was it? This was recent.
This is recent. This
wasn't in 92 or
she did not.
Okay.
There was no time machine. It was not 1989. So she called and said, "Hey, I was interested in the position that you have, and wanted to know the best way to get my resume over to you." And they said, "Well, you could fax it over." Now, I don't even have a landline.
Where do I find a fax machine?
Yeah, well, for one, there's no landline in my house.
Right.
I used to have a pile of fax machines because I do IT and I've got piles of equipment everywhere. But I don't have those anymore either. Because
people probably took them to shred day in Gloucester Township. Shred them. Get rid of them. Like, what do we need this for?
I got no fax machine, so generally, every job that I've applied for in the last 20 years, I've been able to either upload a resume or email a resume. Faxing is really, really rare. So she called, and they were...
I mean, that's literally like a challenge. Like, that's like giving a rotary phone. Like, remember rotary phones? Give that to like
a contest.
A 17-year-old kid or like, a 14-year-old kid. And like, what is this? And they'll be like, I don't know.
It's like
how do I use this?
It's like if you
how do I use a fax machine in 2023? I can't even find a line to connect to it. What do I do here?
It's like being thrown in an escape room. If you can find the way to get the resume out, you can get the job.
Right. It's an escape. Yeah.
You're trying to think like how do I get this piece of paper that I have or this electronic file that I have through the phone line to the ancient machine that they have over there? So the other option was
email's been invented.
You can print it and mail it to us.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
So Yeah, or I think you could come in. I think you could come in, but like if you came in,
You bring a stamp with you so they can mail it in the mail for you, and then it'll come back to them.
I think they would only accept it if you rode on horseback. So that was the other thing too. But also, not whoever. I don't know who. For one, I don't know who the person is in the construction office. Not friendly. HR that she talked to, not friendly. Which was surprising too, because look, construction office, clerk, whatever, tax office, they got to talk to people all day. Sometimes that gets a little bit. But the HR people, why are they miserable too?
Because they had to do something.
I don't know.
I guess. I don't know.
The experience going to Winslow Township and going there, everybody's happy. Not here. Miserable.
It literally is. I mean,
yeah,
you hear that over and over and over. We've talked about it on here countless times. It's bizarre.
Can you imagine opening a business here?
No.
I can't get a yard sale started, let alone open an entire business. I'm trying to sell some crap in my front yard.
Yeah.
I can't, let alone starting a business here. So, yeah, that was
well, Crave Cookies is starting a business here. They are opening up, and what's that plaza called?
This is a Plaza of Despair, which is what it is now. Behind
Sakura
that's the shops.
and
The shops at Cross Keys.
The shops at Cross Keys, yeah.
But yeah, behind Sakura, Texas Roadhouse, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yep, behind there.
There is it's actually a yogurt place right now that I think closed. And
yeah, I think it's next to Chipotle, right? So it's the old Goyo factory or whatever it was.
There's a Chipotle back there.
Yeah, it's right next to. So it's in the same building, I guess. So Sakura is on one, then it's the yogurt factory or Yogo, whatever it was. Will now be Crave, and then Chipotle is on the corner there.
I only ever make it as far as Starbucks. That's
I
it.
never go to Starbucks.
The wife likes
coffee.
Starbucks. She likes iced tea over there. So yeah, a Crave. That Crave is, I guess, a competitor to that other big cookie place that went in Washington Township. That
Crumbles.
I've yet to check it out.
Yeah, they're good. They're a little bit dry, but they're good. I got them. It was like $50 or $60 for like I don't know. It was 12 cookies, but they're big. Got it for my daughter's like volleyball team.
Oh, okay. I think Crave is a national chain. It's based out of Utah, I think.
Yeah, I do remember reading that, Utah.
Yeah, so it's a chains seem to do well here, I guess, because they've got people that do this for a living, that open locations for a living.
Yeah,
I think it's a little bit easier for chains to come in here for some, I guess, because of that reason.
I think people have trust in the chain, like well, if it's successful other places, then I should also be, and that's kind of, people are somewhat sheep like that, and I just follow, like, well, I know this is, other people like this, so I should like it too.
I feel like too with chains coming in, chains don't really get muscled like your small business owner that's opening a business for the first time,
right?
That says, I want this building, and when the township comes in and says, use these people, and these people for all your needs, the chains just go, no, look, we're not doing that. We have our people.
You're gonna take our our thing, Yeah, it's interesting.
So, yeah, looking forward to that. And then Rita's also open back up, too.
Rita's moving out of Gloucester Township, but close enough that they're across the street waving, saying, hi, guys, we didn't open up in Gloucester Township, but you can still come over here.
They're not in Gloucester Township.
No, I think that's considered I don't know if that's Lindenwald or Pine Hill, but it's definitely not.
I thought it was close in the same. I have not been down that way for a while now. It's been a while since I've been
it's right across from the Rite Aid. What's it called? ShopRite. There's ShopRite on the one corner with that AT&T store there, and then you got the health food store or the the GameStop Center is over there or whatever.
Oh, the vitamin place, vitamin shop, I think, or vitamin something.
And then across the way, it used to be a dry cleaners. And then it was converted into, Rita's now. And I know the owners of that, and they were fighting for a while with the... so dry cleaners tend to pollute the land, like the ground underneath. So they had to have quite a few environmental studies done prior to being able to, start the renovations or see if it's even worth buying the property and all that stuff. So it took a little while, but they are open now for business, and they have a drive-through, and you can get your Ritas fill still just right down the street.
I didn't realize that was not in Gloucester Township. I didn't realize where that was.
Yeah.
Well, I failed on Gloucester Township News then for that. But
it was a former Gloucester Township business. It's been around for quite a many years. It was actually the first Rita's Water Rice franchise that was at that over on Blackwood Clementon Road there.
But at least now, Gloucester Township folks can get their fill of Rita's.
Mm-hmm.
We've got one close by here too, over in Pine Hill. There's another Rita's over here that we go to quite a bit.
Okay.
And then Monday night, on the same night as a council meeting, I think it was like 9 p.m., was the LD4 debate between the two Senate positions. There are two, so there are three.
Well, Senate and Assembly, right? But there was only one of the positions was debating, wasn't it?
Yes. So for Senate in LD4, we have Paul Moriarty.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Moriarty is currently your assemblyman.
Incumbent.
Yeah, he's the assemblyman.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Madden is currently in the Senate spot but he's retiring. So Moriarty is stepping up to run for the Senate spot, and on the Democrat side, on the Republican side, you have
he's a commissioner from
Nick DeSilvio. Is a commissioner in Gloucester County, and then you have
I think it's Chris DeBarello.
Chris Delbarello, yes.
Delbarello.
I couldn't think of the names. I was drawing a blank there. So yeah, two Republicans that are going up against each other in the primary. They debated on Monday night. Was a pretty good debate, hosted by New Jersey Globe.
Someone else too. I think it was like two. It was a collaboration of two different.
Yeah, there were two different moderators that did it. It was about an hour long, but
it was interesting.
They talked about issues, and it's. I think it's important to understand what those spots are. There's 40 different legislative districts in New Jersey, so there's 40 Senate spots. And then there are 80 assembly positions. So it's they make laws in New Jersey. So it's important it's important to pick the right people and to not kind of just let that stuff go by. Sometimes you just show up and you're like, boy, whatever, I'll pick that guy.
Yeah, there's a name here, I'll pick it up. I like the guys.
And it's a lot of times it's hard to find information on these people. I thought the debate they did was great because it's there. Now you've got two names that you probably have never heard of before, and because
I never heard of them before. That debate. But what the thing I was going to say, not cut you off, but it's not as exciting as a national one because they have no power over national issues. You know what I mean? Well, I mean to a degree, they don't. So it was more of a reined in kind of a focused, I mean, debate, which leads me into like I don't really care about any of that national kind of stuff or the level that they're on. I'm more local town individual, people hear what affects us from day to day. And those issues that you're actually able to affect change in is what you should be, discussing. And when people talk about Republican and Democrat, in my mind anyway, it's at this level that we're talking about, like municipal, like what you're running for council this year. Excuse me. You can't vote on our foreign policy. Like, you know what I mean? So if you're like, I'm a Democrat and I need to, I don't even know what their foreign policy, like, is it Ukraine right now? Like, is that the big hot topic of the foreign thing?
Yeah.
Your thoughts of that have literally no bearing whatsoever on the position that you're running for.
Right.
You know what I mean? And watching this debate kind of helps my argument in this is like they didn't debate things that are outside of their control. They didn't mention Ukraine once or anything with a foreign war or anything like that, because they're not. That's not what they affect change on.
Yeah, I mean, I think at most, I think they talked about.
I think abortion came up. That's a topic. Immigration, that they do have.
But like immigration, as far as it comes to, I think when it's come to people coming to New Jersey.
I didn't remember talking about immigration. I don't know that was on there, but was it?
Maybe it was on Twitter. I don't. I follow this stuff. I'm a local political junkie here, and that's actually it's a great bridge from our level of municipal to the state level. So, and in my mind, municipal stuff is the most important. Municipal and your schools. That's where a lot of your money's going, and then you start getting into your local district. Beyond that, governor's important, but that's.
But to my point is, it's not a party thing at the level that you're talking about for most people to worry about. That I hear it all the time of I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican. What does that have to do with the local issue that we're talking about
on a local level?
Right.
On a local level, I mean, like when I ran in 21 on an independent team, we had 3 different parties on our team, and we all felt the same way about municipal things. When we would all get together, whether we're walking through neighborhoods, we would sometimes talk politics. Well, the people we were talking to would talk politics.
Right.
And then as we would leave somebody's house after talking politics with them, we would leave. And it was funny because our national politics were different. But our view on the town was identical. Like, we all had exactly the same thing in mind. I mean, I would say that there are differences in, if you're somebody that's a small government Republican or small government libertarian, as opposed to a progressive running, progressives are going to want a little bit more from the municipal government, where the small government people are going to say, I don't think you should have a hand in that. So there's some differences there.
Yeah.
But it's really not. I mean, if you find somebody on the left that says, I think we should be more responsible with our spending, they're not different from the person on the right that says we should be more responsible with our spending. So, yeah, and most of those issues are just that, around that.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, there are people that want more parks and more fields.
There's a new park?
Pickleball.
I'm
pickleball.
Going.
Yeah, there's the pickleball folks.
But it's not even that the person that's like you can say us talking about the pickleball, courts. It's not that we don't want a pickleball court. It's are we fiscally stable enough to go have that pickleball court right now? Do we need that right now? Is someone going to die? Are we in some kind of a dire emergency that we need to have a pickleball court? Or do we have to handle this situation where we don't have enough money to pay our health insurance? From a fiscally responsible person, left or right, the answer you would imagine should be, no, let's not borrow more money. Let's do this here. But if that's how our government now wants to do that, that's where left or right should want to have a change. And when you say, our taxes have gone up this much, that's how it goes up, is when we do frivolous purchases like this and at times that we shouldn't. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's ways to bank money for later on and whatnot, and it feels like we do that intentionally now because of the timing of cycles of campaign cycles. So when it's talked about, I'm not even sure. When is it? Every other year for is it even years that they raise them? I don't remember when the hell what are we in now? An odd year is not. So yeah, even years they raise them. Yeah, even years they raise taxes. So it's just a way to campaign on their side or build up a campaign fund by saying, oh, look, we didn't raise your taxes again. Well, that's convenient because it's an election year. So, something else that we're going to talk about later on happened with our MUA, which seems to be a very,
right in line with that,
very easy money grab. That's like, hey, we're running out of things here to be able to put this money away and not raise taxes every other year. And all these, programs that we have that are reoccurring that we need to pay for, we got to come up with another creative idea. And instead of it being a creative idea of how to save $1 for you, it's a creative way how to steal $1 from you in another way. We're going to take it now, but you're going to owe it later on. It's we're going to take this now. We're going to take we'll get into that later on with the MUA stuff.
Well, we might as well get right into the council meeting recap. So on Monday, May 8th was our last council meeting, and not the last council meeting, but the last one that just happened.
Last one ever.
ever.
Until Friday.
So, there was not this was a council meeting. This was a council meeting that was
brutal. Was that the word you were looking for?
Oh, man, was it brutal.
I literally had to get up and walk over. My head was going to explode.
A lot of people did get up and just leave. But we kicked it off. Not a lot on the agenda. I mean, the agenda was empty, pretty much. It was one of those where I was like, I don't even know if I want to go, but sure, okay, I'll go. Right. And they kicked it off with there's grant money coming in to the housing authority that is then going to pay for the senior center. And I forget the name of the senior center.
Senior Campus 1.
Senior Campus 1. Yeah, so, and I guess
so
how that
on
works.
The surface, if you hear all that, though, it sounds great. Hey, we're getting money for Senior Campus 1. But when you look at the mechanics or the structure of how that all works, it comes into question of saying, Senior Campus 1 is owned by a private company, an LP, as they refer to it as, a limited partnership, I guess is what it is. And depending on the topic and the time, if you go back in time, the LP has been used as, we'll call it an excuse as to why we can't get information about the housing authority or what happened here, or like the the handbook that the seniors get when they go in there. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, that's provided by the LP, so we can't give you that information.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, here's we need to see the we want to open the whatever it is about finances. Well, I'm sorry, that's the LPs. It's a private companies, and now that's fine. Okay, I don't know why we've done it that way, and the excuse has been brought up and saying it wasn't me that did it. I'm just telling you the information that how many years ago it was set up as a private company. No one seems to know who owns this, and they won't ever say who it is. Somebody owns it, obviously. It wouldn't still exist if nobody owns it, right? So someone owns it. If you can tell us who owns it, put it in the comments down below if you know who the owner is, because we don't know. And I guarantee you probably don't either. But anyway, that's convenient at that point in time. Now, what happens is there's grant money that's out there, and the housing authority, as part of a government agency that's is a able to access grants, has over I don't know how many years, but I know at least 2 because of this scenario here that's been called out. They are requesting grant money for Senior Campus 1. And it's like, wait a minute, hold on. You've told us over and over we can't get this information that should be public record to the public because it should be our building here. You said you structured it as a private company, it's a for-profit company, that we can't do that. Why are we now getting grant money for them as a private company? Because unless it's a non-profit and they can go write their own grants, how is this coming about? So there's a question, right? And I don't know how we have a couple. So there was the first one was just by Pete.
It started out with Pete, and Pete was basically saying the housing authority's budget per year is like $40,000, and all that does is that covers the administrative tasks that they do. It pays. That's it. That's all it pays for.
Right.
So he was wondering, like, why is this money coming to them? They already have their $40,000 a year budget. It pays for consultants, and that's it. So Pete was questioning it first,
right?
And he really kind of got nowhere. And then right afterwards,
Denise Coyne got up and asked questions about this, and she called out that last year, and I know for a fact she was correct in this here. We didn't pull the clips for it. I apologize. I got lazy. But she definitely was told in the past when she called us out and said, "Why are we giving money to a private?" And it was told by Triad, I believe it is that does the grant writing for the town, I guess we would say. When she's called them out on this, they said, "You know what? You are correct. We were caught. You caught us. We're not going to represent that the housing or the Senior Campus One is a nonprofit organization looking for this grant. We're going to correct it moving forward." But here we are a year later, and the same shenanigans are afoot, and
nobody remembers.
Right, and now no one remembers this. The guy that literally wrote the email back to her. Well, actually, I think he was correct. I think it was Melissa from Triad is the one that actually did say it in looking back through notes. But that's now conveniently everybody forgets. No one knows. I'm not sure how. If it is it an LP that owns that now? All of a sudden, we don't know. But
nobody knows.
It's convenient. We know exactly what happened 30 years ago or whatever it was when it was set up, and that's all fine now. But now all of a sudden, I'm not sure. I don't know that I can say it out loud because there's people that do a podcast and rip apart everything that we say and call us out on this and shed light on our BS that we do. So I don't know that I can tell you that. Either that or it's just I conveniently forget to not have it on the public record to say it out loud in these minutes. If you want to go digging deeper and go into all the minutes notes that I've said in the past, go ahead. But as of right now, I can't speak about it. It's convenient, but
it's good too. When you mention agendas and notes too, the way that we do agendas and notes is that we type them, and then we print them, and then we scan them.
Right.
So when you
can't index it or you search it at all in a PDF.
So
that's intentionally done. There's no way.
Every other township, if I search for something else, I'll find something in a PDF somewhere because Google is able to index that PDF and it knows the topics in there. And you click on it, you can open the PDF from Washington Township, from every other township. But in Gloucester Township, we type it, we print it, we scan it, and we scan it to a PDF so that it is not readable.
Right. We intentionally hide it. And if you don't do that, then let's change it all up. If you don't do that.
And I don't know why, and I'm going to ego that too, because that's...
You should.
It should change for... Look, make a small step toward transparency so that people can search.
A small step? They literally are going to hire a new appoint a new person on a hidden day.
Friday, yes.
That they hope no one read the newspaper.
So
they're going to index, or they're going to... Well.
Here's Denise's back and forth with them.
Back to the CBDG money for the Housing Authority. If I recall correctly, in June of last year, when the CBG plan came about, I mentioned that the Senior Campus One is actually owned by the LP, which is a for-profit limited partnership. And I sent in eGov questions, I believe, which you sent to Jake. And Jake's response to that was that it would be corrected going forward. Instead of the Housing Authority asking for the money, the LP was going to ask for the money because the LP owns the building and not the Housing Authority.
I don't recall that, but I'm going to ask Mr. Monticello was acknowledging your statement. Jake, you want to add anything to that?
I'll look into it for you.
It was
I don't remember that exchange. I apologize.
the end of June last year.
Okay, it may have been Melissa that responded to you about this. I'll look into it and I'll let you know.
Okay, but I am correct. The LP owns the building, correct? The Housing Authority does not own the building.
Can't give you an exact answer. I would say I believe that's the structure that's there, is owned by them for the period of time, or I don't want to make a misstatement, so I'd have to check.
All right, yeah, because it doesn't make sense that the Housing Authority, which is a nonprofit agency, is asking for grant money as a nonprofit agency, but it's going to a building that's owned by a private partnership. Something seems a little off with that, don't you think?
I don't know.
Well, it does to me. So.
What?
I said, it does to me. It seems a little off.
I don't know if that's.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
I like how he said, "What, Dan Hutchison?" Up there.
Yeah. What?
What? That was not a what he couldn't hear you. It was a annoyed what. She literally is speaking to a microphone. You can't hear him. He's got his microphone pushed off to the side
Dan's
intentionally.
got no time. He's got no time for these people anymore. He's up there. He's got his suit on.
Yeah.
He got rid of the gym shorts. He's doing the suit thing. He's making his run for
What's he running for?
LD4 Assembly.
Oh, okay.
So Moriarty's taking over, trying to take over Madden's spot.
Let's not
And
get
then
into the whole thing.
Hutchison is trying to take over Moriarty's spot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's how that
Good luck
goes.
to him.
And so the last thing Orlando said was anyone else? And
Is there anyone else? Yeah.
man, there was a lot of everybody else. Well, not everybody else, but Miss Smithman. Miss Smithman spent a lot of time up there. Miss Smithman probably spent
I think she did 4 people's.
40 minutes probably, because over 2 different segments. But
You know, I don't want to say I blame him, but I somewhat blame Council President for calling on her every single time that there's something that comes up. Like the way that our public questions or public thing comes up is it's not. Here's the microphone. If you have something to say, get up in line, and you'll be heard next. It's literally you're picked out by the ruling.
yeah,
The ruler up there is like, you over there, you in the back. They'll pick on people to come up when there's limited number of spots out there, and without fail, every single time she's selected. If there was more than you only have 5 people, right? Say there's 10 people that all want to go up. She's always one of the people that gets selected. But now,
yeah. So, well, yeah. So in some portions you have 30 minutes, and then each person gets 5. So you're maxed out at 6. If six end at 5 minutes each,
right?
That's it. That's all you're getting.
Right.
So sometimes there are people in the crowd, and there's a few of them that want to. But so you would think, knowing from the history now, what are we, like 2 years of Smithman questions?
Yeah, 2 years.
You'd think that they would pick all those first, but she always gets the pick. But this week, it just happened.
To go back in time, the first, say, year and a half of her going up there, it was, I mean, I could tell you exactly what she's going to say every single time.
Same questions.
It was the same questions, the same statements, the same, maybe in a slightly different order, but I could almost verbatim tell you what she's going to say.
Yes.
So the point I'm making about calling on it is and listen, she has the right just like any one of us. She has the absolute right. I'm not saying that at all. But when you have people you're selecting calling on this particular person, you already know what the outcome's going to be versus calling on someone like, say, Denise Coyne, who's going to have hard-hitting questions. You're getting questions about what's your favorite flavor of ice cream, or I'm going to bear through this, this conversation about Braille on every street sign.
Yep.
Versus, isn't the LP the one that owns the building? Why are we running grant money? You know what I mean? Harder questions to answer, or
well, I think it's biting him now because
right, and that's what I'm saying. Is it's okay? So now she's every single meeting, whether it's planning board, zoning board, she's there in force asking.
She's at workshops. Yeah. She is everywhere. They've given her a spot that she feels at home.
Yeah. And
she's trying to be helpful. She's trying to be helpful in her own way.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying she's not.
It's taking up every bit of council's time that's free. I mean, look, if there's nobody else to talk, she's got. If nobody asks a question in that 30 minutes,
well, and I think that's what happened.
She's got 30 minutes.
Last meeting.
Yeah, she's got 30 minutes.
Go ahead and call on her, and then everyone else was like, "Oh, really? Okay, no, I don't have a question because you're not going to answer it anyway."
Yeah.
So deal with what you've been, here. And he's like, "Anyone? You want to get up? You want to come? Now you want us to come up and ask something because you don't want to sit through any more of this."
He's
interesting.
Doing everything he can, but calling friends just to come and show up and ask questions.
Right.
But my favorite exchange of the night.
So is this typical for every year? Because it says it's a 1-year action plan, but I know that the Housing Authority for the Housing of Urban Development has been around for
This is what you
40
just,
years or more.
Ms. Smithman, this is what you just spoke on earlier. Yes.
You mean at the workshop?
No, when you were here about 10 minutes ago.
You mean when I asked about the Memorial Day service?
Okay.
No.
This is action plan. So this is an action
Please
plan.
clarify. And may I ask, what are you referring to when you say that I spoke on this? I did not speak on this.
Okay.
I
guess I got confused. So I apologize.
so please clarify.
So I guess I was confused. I apologize.
I don't know what you were stating that you thought I spoke on.
Okay. Yes. I misspoke. Okay. I apologize.
What you misspoke
You
on
just
what?
spoke about Bobby's.
What did you misspoke
About
on?
you making a comment about the CDBG action plan.
So I did not do that.
No, you did not.
I just love the awkwardness there, and that I edited that clip to take out all the big,
there was big gaps of silence.
gaps of silence and awkwardness, and you could almost feel President Mercado just calling out subliminally.
Yeah.
Denise,
Please.
come up here and ask something.
Please.
So there was that. There wasn't a whole lot of content from.
That was out of character for him though to because it was Pete that mentioned what that was, and then he put it or he mentioned it that she said that, and he's a lot quicker, a lot smarter than that to do that. He slipped somehow, and that's not.
It is.
That's not normal for him to
I
slip.
was thinking because that's when I wrote the note down. I was like,
a very smart man.
yeah, that Miss Smithman was there, but only really in his head, I guess, asking questions.
Right. Yeah.
Because I was thinking sometimes certain people up there to ask questions and I zone out and I don't care what the exchange is. And I was thinking, I don't remember her saying anything at all about this earlier.
Yeah.
I think she was up there once before, but that's not what she was asking. But so
Yeah. Anyway, well, we define what a restaurant is, if nothing else.
Yeah. So there may be there should be a good documentary on what is a restaurant.
Yeah. I'm still curious. We promised you guys at home that we will find out, or you will find out why we're defining this. We still don't know, but I think we've passed it, right? Is that what happened?
We did. We have defined.
We had a public hearing on defining a restaurant versus a fast food restaurant, and
there was nobody asked a question in the public hearing about that. I mean, I wanted to and just say why.
Right, why?
But
it's not worth it.
I knew.
I'm not going to give you the right answer.
I knew I wasn't going to get an answer. I knew that it was going to be like, well, we had to define it.
We had to. It was like what you said last time. Your Uncle Steve or something that shows up.
Yeah, he's like at Thanksgiving.
We need to define.
I don't even know the difference between a restaurant and a a fast food chain. What's the difference? And you're just like, I don't know, Steve. I never actually thought of that question before, but. Maybe I'll find an answer for you. This is Gracie. Gracie's been hanging out here under the table.
He's licking my leg. I thought it was Joe, but I saw his head up
Nah.
here.
But yeah, if you're wondering what a restaurant is, this is the difference.
Ordinance 0-23-06, an ordinance amending section 202, definitions of Article 2 of the Township of Gloucester, County of Camden, and State of New Jersey Land Development Ordinance. What this does, on Article 2, under definitions and word usage, The definition shall be amended to repeal and replace the following: that a restaurant is a public eating facility where food and drink are prepared, served, and consumed within the building, and where patrons are seated at tables, booths, or counters. And a restaurant, fast food, is a public eating facility where any of the following conditions exist: a carry-out window, window only, a drive-through facility, and no indoor seating or consumption.
So it's where any of those conditions exist. So as long as you have, what was it, a takeout window,
Yeah, if it has no seating.
no seating, and something else, but that's a fast
Drive-through.
food versus a regular restaurant.
All the things that seemed obvious before.
Right. But it wasn't defined.
I mean, if you can ask for food at one speaker and then grab around and go drive around to the next window and get it, it's fast food to me. I mean, that's. But yeah, and if it doesn't have seating, it's not a restaurant. So
It's got to do. I don't know. We'll find out later on. But it's got to do something like, you can or can't get a tax abatement for something. That's or whatever the case is. There's something coming up that there's grant money or something that it's available to restaurants, but not to restaurants fast food, or you know what I mean. There's something along those lines.
yeah,
We don't know what it is. It'll pop up, but there's not no reason that we're defining
it's
it.
definitely not going to disqualify people from abatements.
No, we give
Maybe
those
you
out,
get maybe you get two if you have a drive-through window now.
Maybe.
That's what it is going to be. There's going to be two, one for this one, and then one for whatever else you want to do. One of those.
Yeah.
So that's going to come up. I don't know. We're going to see it, and then
We'll
we can
mention
say,
it then.
We
but
told you so.
It's been defined now. Now you know.
So yeah, clip number 4 we've got on here is
Kind of goes back to the sinkhole we were mentioning earlier about the MUA.
yeah. Let's go into Pete's clip and then we'll talk about it.
We had 2 eGov emails, both from Peter Heimball. First one, Peter Heimball from Morningstar Court. The original April 30th deadline for the dissolution of the GTMA has passed. What is the revised date? What are the new dates for the local finance board application hearing and for the public hearing? What caused the delay? We received communication from the secretary of the local finance board on Wednesday, April 5th, that they are rescheduling the April 12th agenda meeting of the local finance board meeting. It was rescheduled to May. So that hearing is scheduled for Wednesday, May 10th at 11:30 a.m. There will be a public hearing if and when an ordinance is adopted. And the delay was caused by the local finance board postponing the April 12th, 2023 meeting. Mr. Carson, want to add anything to that?
No, you're correct.
Okay.
So, yeah, if people have been wondering what happened with the MUA, for a while there we had some MUA employees kind of hanging out. We had some union reps come in trying to figure out what's going on with the MUA.
Yeah, so this meeting here didn't answer it. He was just asking because that the decision on that affects the budget for the township and when that can actually go. And he's saying, well, it was supposed to have been done in April. Why is it not done yet? Why are we sitting here? Was it May 8th? Was that or
Yeah, it was May 8th.
So May 8th was why isn't it done? And they just basically said it's not their problem. It's the local finance board's hearing, which the local finance board is similar to like the planning board here, where they hear all applications from all different people. One might run a lot longer than another. You know what I mean? So that it could have been, it's out of their hands. Is basically what the answer is. However, they did. Do we want to go right into what actually happened with that, or do we want to play another clip? I think you had another clip on here of why it was being delayed, or did you just play both?
Well, yeah, the next eGov question that came in was about the budget, which kind of goes back to it. Well, we'll hit that clip and then we'll go back to the whole thing.
Okay.
Next one from Mr. Peter Heimball from Morningstar Court. The introduction, public hearing, and adoption of the 2023 GT budget are behind schedule. Was a revised schedule? What change is expected to the municipal property tax rate? The 2023 budget schedule is based on the outcome of the local finance board decision. There is no revised schedule presently, and at this time, we do not have an expected property tax rate at this time. Mrs. Carter, you want to add anything to that? No. Okay.
How convenient.
Mr.
They don't
Cardis
have
was
any
not-
answers?
He was not adding to anything last that meeting.
No.
So yeah. Is there some theories around this?
So the MUA was a part of our township. It had its own board, its own attorneys, its own staff, and everything else. And dissolving the MUA, according to the township, is going to, and it should, have some redundancies taken out,
Yeah.
which should in turn help cut costs. That's a good way to spin it as a story to people, but there's a lot more that lies underneath of that, and I'm not smart enough to sit here and explain it in any kind of detail that you guys are. I understand it to a degree, but not enough to be an expert on it. And we do have two people we tried to get over here tonight to sit and talk about this, one of which is an engineer for the MUA, attended the finance board meeting and had all sorts of words ahead of time sent to the finance board, who was the one that's going to approve this dissolution, and then had other, I don't know if it was Wooder, all kinds of, he had other people sending in letters. And reading the things that they brought up and the points for the finance board to consider when making this decision were really robust ideas and things that I would have never even thought of. And you're like, wow, that makes a really good point. But in a nutshell, to try to kind of explain as much as we can, because it has its own budget, it was its own entity, and there was oversight to that from the public and some transparency in that. Now it's getting rolled into the public works department, where we already know how there's no transparency. Anyway, they have in their budget, they had, I want to say it was I'm going to get these numbers wrong, but I think it was $3.6 million in what the heck is it called? Surplus.
Yeah.
From that, they had $2.4 million that they were. No, I'm sorry. They had $6 million in surplus. $2.4 million of it was locked up in bonds that were that they have to pay on bonds. Then there was also repairs on trucks that was in the budget for like $700,000, which left $3 million of surplus, which now the township can take and just sweep it right into their budget and be like, ha, look at that, we got $3 million.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty convenient timing for the mayor, to run or whatever, for campaigning, to say, look, we didn't raise taxes. But when you think of all the downsides of what the MUA was saving that money for, was for a rainy day. And we talk about this, putting in a pickleball court because we want one.
Yeah.
We can't afford it, but we want one, so we're going to borrow to get it. And we've gone over this on countless, podcasts with you guys, of the over borrowing and the early borrowing and borrowing for the same project multiple times. We're just taking money that we had saved in the bank, and we literally are just saying, yeah, we're putting this in our drunken sailor, bin here, and we're going to spend away on that.
Yeah.
And when that rainy day comes, we already know the answer. We'll borrow. You ever see our bond rating? How great our bond rating is? You ever hear Cardis talk about his bond rating? That's what we'll end up doing. So that's where we are.
Yeah. So some of the people that are very familiar with municipal utilities said that money's great to have there because of situations like Lower Landing Road right now,
Right.
with a sinkhole and a water main break. But when it gets bigger than that, you're going to need money, and they've got the surplus that they can use for any of these things that come up. And right now, that money's going to get swept into the township, and then when something happens on the MUA side, it's now going to be the township's responsibility to pay for it. So we're going to borrow that money to pay for it, because we're going to spend that surplus. We're going to spend that for sure.
Right.
We know that's how it works. we're going to borrow that money again. That's going to go against the debt that we already have. I don't know how much debt we have now. I haven't checked it out recently, but there's a ton of debt that this town is in.
A lot.
And
wasn't last year alone we borrowed $16 million or something like that? I thought we were close to $70 million in debt or something around there. I could be off, but I feel like that's the numbers.
so, I mean, that's the sad part. Now there's another entity that we're bringing in, another entity that was doing okay, that had its own money, was doing its own thing. We're bringing them in.
It had a surplus, yeah.
We're going to bring them in, and then we're going to borrow money for them now too. So the question is, at $3 million, well, where's that going to go? Are we short right now?
Nope.
You know, are we on an election year right now because the budget's being held up for this? Are we short on money right now that we were going to have to raise taxes this year? And they said
we already banked $3.6 million in COVID money
yes.
from that we already banked. So now you're gonna have $6 million in money that was not you weren't fiscally responsible in not spending that. It fell in your lap, or you maneuvered to get half of it. It's an interesting thing. But it's an unfortunate process that it goes through. So the way that worked is it went to the local finance board, which I don't know who these people are, how they get their positions, or what it actually is. But from the process, it's understood that it's basically the worst of how council works. It's basically just rubber stamp. It's vote yes.
no questions.
No matter what it was that was said to him, made no difference whatsoever, and was like, yeah, this is coming in front of us, it's going through. Yes, vote, rubber stamped it right through, and here we are. So, now you have people that are confused, when you say, oh yeah, the MUA was just dissolved and rolled into the town. All they hear and all they understand is, oh, did my bill go away? I paid for the whole year ahead of time. Do I get my money back? No. I'm sorry. You're honestly, you're probably going to be paying a lot more money for your bill that you had that was set at, before this.
Yeah, because who knows what it's going to do to our rates now? But the scariest part is that sometimes towns will privatize this, and you take an entity that was the Gloucester Township MUA. Where they really don't have to make, they're not in it to make a profit. They're in it to operate. Just to operate. If you send it over to a for-profit company, they have to make a profit. So, in situations where you get some of these experts that know these things, will say, look, your bills are going to skyrocket.
Yeah.
If that happens, if a private company takes it over, and American Water is in that. They're in that realm of wastewater also.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's other companies out there. Whatever it is, it's.
But there are not other companies that our mayor works for.
True.
So that's
right.
That's one of the things is our mayor works for American Water, and that's one of the places that our MUA could get privatized to.
Right.
So, man, it's a conflict. For one, but it's going to put a beatings on us for the money that we're going to put out for this, if that happens.
Yeah, all done under the guise of we're going to save you some redundancies. But now, the infrastructure that the MUA had to deal with, I guess like a dinosaur is under there or something. But the infrastructure that they'd have to deal with in the past, antiquated. I mean, it's that water main breaking and all that other. So they had money in reserves in order to handle when that situation comes up. So it's going to come up. There's been several $100,000 emergencies that the MUA has had recently. It's not an unheard of thing for them to come across those. So it's going to happen. We're going to have to deal with it.
What's a sinkhole in the road cost?
Right.
That's not cheap.
I'm sure it's not. Yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't know. It puts us in a bad spot, and
we'll get more into detail on that later on when we get an expert in here to explain it to us. We can have a whole topic of that we're wasting time on.
Yeah, for sure.
We're not experts at all.
Yeah.
on
Our
it.
other
Well,
favorite
anything. Let me.
Yeah. Our next favorite topic has to come back.
Oh yeah.
Nah, it's not the last time. It's not the last time. There's gonna be one more episode at least on this. So it's Miss Stubbs. Miss Stubbs and the spot that is no longer Miss Stubbs. Dina Hendry came in.
Yeah, so she came in and asked how's that seat get filled?
Yeah.
So let's hear the explanation of that.
2 weeks ago, I came and spoke about the seat, and I went home and saw that unfortunately Ms. Stubbs had decided to resign. We all wish her well. If I recall in the meeting, you had said that you needed to communicate to an office to let them know that there was a seat vacant and to begin the search process in a sense. Could you clarify what this search process is and what the council is looking for in their next team member?
So I do not communicate directly with the chairman of the Gloucester Township Democratic Party. The clerk, the power, reached out to him and informed him that there was an opening and that Mrs. Stubbs had resigned.
Uh-huh.
So now we're tasked in filling that spot within the next 30 days. The head of the Democratic Party has 2 weeks to provide us 3 names, and those names were provided today.
Oh, okay.
And those 3 individuals will receive interviews with probably 2 or 3 members of council.
Understood. And it has to be a
We can't have
Democrat?
more than 3 because then it'll be a quorum, and then we have to advertise it. So it will be a committee of 2 or 3 people that interview them, and then those names will be, when we appoint them, when we have our next meeting, they'll be appointed within that 30-day period. We will go into closed session, and the rest of council will go there and review their resumes and feedback from the individuals that are part of that interview process. And then that person will be appointed that evening.
Awesome. And it has to be a Democrat? Like you can't just be like any, or because she was a Democrat, you have to replace one with one? Is that how it goes?
In the state of New Jersey, she was elected Democrat.
Okay.
And yes, so it has to be, well, the Democratic chair. They could put anybody. They could put a Libertarian, an Independent, a Republican. They could put any of the 3 names for the council. And then council will review those names, interview those individuals, and then they'll debate and then come out here and vote.
So the next council meeting.
The next council meeting, I guess somebody. Yeah, that's what he said. The next council meeting is when they're gonna find somebody. But apparently, we just found out that on Friday, they're gonna find somebody, and then when we go into the next council meeting, they'll be there.
Right? They thought they just sneak it right in on Friday.
So
what, you gonna chew me? Don't chew my hand up. All right.
So yeah,
that's the process. You were elected as a Democrat, so the Democratic chair of the town committee, is this what it's called, submits the names to council. They have a small committee that reviews those, and then they present them to the rest of the council as a suggestion of who they picked, and then they vote on it.
So they have interviewed. The Democratic committee has interviewed 3 people already, and they have sent them through to council. That was the. I don't know who all 3 of them are.
I don't know.
I know one of them is a very familiar face to a lot of the folks in Gloucester Township.
Oh, did Sam get?
Sam did interview with them, and I believe he's one of the 3 that were passed over. So the big running joke, I guess you could say, is that last time Albright Troxel and Sam Sweet were sent to council. Council met and they decided to pick Albright Troxel. So when the next spot opened, it was like Sam's spot.
Yeah,
he's got it now, right? He's finally in, and it's obvious it's not going to be Sam,
right?
But he's going through. He's going to get his interview with council, which I'd love to be in that room.
Probably already happened, but we don't know.
I hadn't heard from him. Yeah.
It could have happened.
So, man, we might go to the next council meeting, and Sam might be up there.
Well, I believe it's Friday. You can go and see what happens.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. We'll see.
It's a possibility. So, if it is, I won't even know what to say.
I don't either.
Because we predicted it's going to be Walters or Nash.
These are the two new.
These are the two that are on the ballot.
Running, right? Yeah, they're on the ballot now.
They're on the ballot for November, and we figured they're probably going to pick one of those two. Walters has been in the crowd.
I mean,
literally,
it can't not be, right?
Yeah.
How can it not be? Like, if you're running those other two people because you as the party think that they're the next ones to be that you want to be up there, why would you not pick one of those two people? Why would you not send them to council to do that? If it's not, I would find that even odder than them booking it on a Friday night through the Courier Post and not saying anything. You know what I mean? I feel like that's odder.
Earlier in the year, your second best pick was Sam Sweet. Because it came down to Helen and Sam, and they put Helen up there. So the next best person is Sam. Now all of a sudden, two strangers come out of nowhere, and they're ready to serve, and they can't bypass Sam, right? I mean, we know they will, but still.
But they don't have Sam on their ballot. Is my point. They have two other people.
Yeah.
If it's not one of those two other people, I mean, that'll blow my mind.
It's going to blow everybody's mind. It's going to blow everybody's mind. And then, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I can't predict everything. But I feel like I can.
Why,
so.
You think it would be Sam? Is that what you're saying?
No. I know. It's absolutely not going to be Sam.
Okay, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
But you think it's not going to be one of those two? Or you think it's only a chance?
No, it's going to be one of those two.
Okay, so then we're in agreement.
In fact, it's going to be Walters, I'm sure.
Because Walters is the one that's been at the last two council meetings.
She's a school nurse in the school system here.
Perfect.
So technically, kind of in the school system with President Mercado, which would make it probably awkward if she disagreed with things. You know, so
I'm not going to comment.
Like a conflict of interest, possibly. I don't know. It was one of the things that immediately when I heard school nurse, I thought, well, that's an awkward spot if she really disagrees with things that they're doing. She's not going to say anything because now her employment's on the line. Weird, but
yeah.
That's who I think the pick's going to be. Just a guess. I don't know anything that you all don't know.
I can't bet against you because I think that you're right. So yeah, I'm on your side.
I don't think anybody thinks I'm wrong. So interesting it would be if they put Sam up there, because then what happens during re-election time?
So you think it's going to be, what's her name?
Helen. Or no, Walters.
Walters.
Yes.
In the English language, that's yes, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that is exactly what it's going to be.
Yep. All right, our last thing to wrap it up here, we had the arts market. I don't know what that day was. Saturday, May something or other.
I think he mentioned that it was the day before. So maybe it was Sunday. Maybe it was Sunday, May 7th. It was either Sunday, May 7th or Saturday, May 6th.
Yeah, it was that weekend.
Something caught me with this.
Yesterday was the Gloucester Township Arts Fair in downtown Blackwood. A small but lively crowd over there with vendors and food trucks there as we look to build upon events in the downtown Blackwood area. So I want to thank the MPP, Downtown Blackwood, Economic Development Corporation, and also the Mayor's Office for coordinating all of those events.
So, my takeaway
Small but lively.
from what I saw from pictures, what I heard from people that were there, and then what Orlando just said. It was a small turnout. Is an art festival in what we are trying to become an arts district. You know, we've criticized that idea before. Maybe a black box studio, maybe the arts district, maybe the government-owned arts district isn't going to entice people to come down to downtown Blackwood. You know, are we setting us up for failure here? We just saw.
Yeah, I'm the first one to. I'm an art person, and I the absolute last thing I think of when I think of art is government. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, the government run arts district makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Walk through the municipal building and tell me if anything in there is artistic at all.
It goes
government.
back to
it's
you know this. I understand that they're trying to be the Kickstarter for this, but you're literally the worst Kickstarter for for art.
You've got the wrong ideas.
You need literally I don't know, graffiti artists to come down and just start taking over, doing stuff on the streets that say, wow, okay, something's going on here with art, or a nonprofit comes together and says, hey, we want to. This is a cool area to have this little festival of something similar to that. They makers market, and then that comes about, and that actually did start with Mystic Ginger over there. She took and started that arts market, and what happened? The town took it over. What happened when over, I don't know, over the course of a year and a half or so of me sitting there listening to people go up to the council and talk about what happened to the farmers market that used to happen years ago over there, and I stepped up and went to the town and did tons of work and research ahead of time about starting up the farmers market. What do? Take it back, and it needs to be under control of the government. The government has no business in any of this kind of stuff, and then they wonder why it fails, and it's why are we, because we're talking about, no, the government doesn't do that. The government shouldn't do that. That's why it failed. That's why it's a small but lively, crowd mentioned there. Again, Mystic Ginger started that arts market that they had there, and that was taken away from her. The farmers market, I'm not even going to bring up any more mention.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like an arts district just happens. It just
right. That's what I mean. It
just organically happens on its own. It's not, the government doesn't come in and say, do art.
Right.
And then just art happens. It just happens.
Right. They have literally one, I guess you call it a mural, down on a building on a little strip of brick buildings on the side of Church or Black Horse Pike there, that they commissioned for it. You can't commission that. There was Shanna's Wild Fig commissioned someone. Well, actually, they didn't. Somebody just kind of put up a mural that was on the side of her building. That just naturally happened. Government had nothing at all to do with it. It just took place. So if the next building down, which is the I can't think of the name of it at the moment. The nonprofit, Unforgotten Haven. Yeah. If they did something outside and did artsy, they have right now. There's rabbit cages or something they have out there. That organically happened. That's how art takes place, and that's how things happen. But we're institutionally putting in art.
We're putting a black box theater in a bank. There's nothing artistic about it.
What? What is it?
The least artistic thing I can think of is a bank.
You don't force art. You don't force.
I don't know. We go back to Pittman. Pittman had a great idea there, and I think they nailed it with buying that bank and leasing it out to Merriman's Pub. I don't. You can do that. You could help out that kind of thing.
You can help encourage. You can help facilitate it. You can help them along.
But I don't think you can create art.
Right. And everything that goes along with art. A farmer's market, a arts market. That's in the same vein. You know what I mean? You can't force. All right, we're gonna we're gonna put on a play. Why? What the hell do you know about putting on a play?
Yeah.
We're gonna have a makers thing here. What the hell do you know about? You don't even know how to get our budget on you.
Yeah.
You got sinkholes and everything else you're dealing with over here. You got a weed under the 295 or 42 underpass. You still haven't taken care of. You're gonna worry about an arts market? Oh my. Yeah. All right.
We're going to do weed carvings.
whittle
We're
walking
gonna
sticks.
We're going to whittle
A walking stick out of
weeds. Oh, I want to go over there and I want that weed.
Yeah, you're probably getting in trouble for cutting it down though.
Hanging on the wall back here. That's where it belongs. Hey, if somebody can go get that weed
Yeah.
and so we can hang it here, that'd be awesome. That's all we got.
That's it.
It's probably another 3-hour podcast. Hour and 21 minutes.
Yeah. So we got school board meeting is on Monday coming up. A Friday will be the next council meeting. That is where the person will be replaced.
Secret
and then
council
the Monday
meeting, I guess.
after that.
Yeah, and then the actual council meeting on the Monday after that. So if you haven't already,
Between that, I don't know what else is going on, but yeah, go ahead. Do the
if so you're watching this on YouTube, if you could subscribe to us, hit the like button, and the notification bell. Not everybody hits the like button, and not everybody subscribes either.
yeah.
I don't know why. You're watching it. You had to have liked some part of it.
And we're on Rumble too, so you can hit the Rumble button, which is like a fist or something. I don't know what the heck it is. It's a
Yeah.
glove.
It's a weird
Rumble.
name for it's a
Rumble,
weird name
yeah.
for a platform, but yeah. Do all that stuff. And then check us out at restoregt.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff too. So find us, ask questions, reach out. If you got topics you want covered, let us know. We'll cover it. Keith will show up with his camera.
Yep. Click, click.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
Talk to you later, folks.